We started with Vigne des Enfants, that was a small parcel. And then in 2018, we took all the vineyards around. And normally for us, to blend and do different assemblage, so different mix every year, was easy because the understanding of the grapes and what the different parcels could give us from the grapes we bought was already made through many, many years. We used to buy the grapes, and we still do, from Chiral du Stric and Schüssling du Stric. And they make single variety wines every year, and they've been doing that for, 30 years. So if I wanted to know how Carignan or Syrah from them would act in a different year, I just go back in and I pick a bottle from 2008 or 92 or whatever, so I can go back and taste all the wines since a long time. But with our own vineyards, we didn't have this possibility. So I wanted to create the first year like a base of knowledge in a way. So I made every parcel. I mix also from the parcel, but I made one wine from every parcel the first year to see exactly what the grapes from this parcel could give us. For example, this one we can do what I can't. Is only from the parcels with the Syrah, the normal Syrah. It was the first wine we made in 2018. So it was a year where we wanted more, structure than we could actually have. 18 was a vintage that was very unusual, because here we normally is very warm and very dry. In 2018 we had a lot of water, so maybe 4 or 5 times more water than normal. So when we picked the grapes, I was feeling that we were missing length in the wines. So we wanted to do longer macerations, longer and slower press. And this one is the first sample of this. So we took only 40% grapes and then 60 juice from the same grapes. And we let that macerate for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, which is at that moment some of the longest time of maceration we ever did. So for example, the same year we also did In the Shadow of the Morning Sun. That's 100% Grenache Noir. And there we did only 20% grapes, 80 juice of the same Grenache, but more than 4 weeks of maceration. And that it's strange because it's much more lighter, but the structure of the wine is more, well built, it's more structured in a way. It's a stronger wine, even though it's with less tannins and less of this classic understanding of structure. This one is more tannic wine, it's heavier, but for me it's also a wine, I wouldn't say that it should be drunk faster, but I think it's a wine that wouldn't last for 10 years. On the other hand, In the Shadow of the Morning Sun could last for 15 years without any problems, I think. For me, it's politics. I think it's the biggest problem we have at the moment is that you have a YouTube, MySpace, iPhone, iCloud, whatever. Everything concerns about me and you and I and my thing, and there's no we space or our phone or anything else. There's no people not talking about what we could do as something. It's all the time what I need, what I feel is correct, what I want to do, all these things. And we are living in a world where we have big environmental problems. But the thing is, the countries, they cannot agree to agree. So everybody is agreeing that we have a problem, but they cannot agree how to solve them. Even though the way to solve them is quite obviously. We need to change stuff, not change in a way that we create something new, but change to go back to where we started. And I think that is if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I would say the biggest problem is plastic in the ocean and pollution. I think now the biggest problem is not plastic in the ocean or pollution or all these things. The biggest problem is that the nation cannot agree to be together. It's also, now I talk big politics and world things and so on and so on, but there's also the experience of our village. Here we have 4 winemakers making natural wine in Valvinier, and each time there's something bigger jobs to do, we get together and we help. We work one day for Chiral du Stric, we make one day for Géraldine and Meryl Crochet, or we go to Christophe or Hélène Comte, and we work with them for one day to help them, because what we can do, what I cannot do. You know? So you cannot do alone, and you shouldn't be doing alone. The idea is quite simple. I want the wines to be, how to say, their own wines. You know, I want every cuvée to be understood as a single person, or a wine without any prehistory. You know. But I think also as a consumer or a wine drinker, it must be complicated to see the same label year after year, but the wine inside the bottle is changing, because 2004 and 6 and 8 and 10 and 12 will never be the same, and all the vintages in between not the same either. So you cannot expect the same wine when we talk natural wine. We are different. We make an expression of the year. For me, not very much the terroir, maybe a little less, but an expression of the moment in a winemaker's life, you know. And this is an expression of what we did in 2018. And I cannot copy that in 2012, or I can't redo it in 2020. It's not possible. And I don't want to do that. I want the wines to be on their own, you know. That's also why when we press them and bottle them, we just leave them to do whatever they want, you know. Can I open another bottle?